I, 25 female, have a best friend Sarah, 26 female. Sarah's boyfriend Adam recently called me to discuss a surprise wedding. He wants me to distract Sarah the whole day and surprise her with her family and all our friends back home, and they get married in their backyard. I told him I wasn't sure this was what she wanted, knowing she would hate this as she hates surprises, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings, as Sarah loves organising and planning things. She's talked about getting married previously and wants a winter wedding. Sarah has recently confided in me about drifting from Adam and thinking about taking a break. I was quite shocked to hear Adam planning a wedding, a surprise one at that, in front of all of our family and friends. I encouraged him to instead have a more intimate proposal, as opposed to a surprise wedding, but Adam told me that I didn't know what Sarah wanted and that he knew her better. I told him to talk to her about what she wants at a wedding. Hopefully she would bring up her winter wedding or what she told me about her relationship with him. However, Adam insists on the surprise wedding and says he'll ask Sarah's sister to distract her the day of instead. I told him I felt obligated to tell her, as I know she hates surprises, and I want her to feel prepared, not ambushed at this event. He's calling me the idiot. I initially agreed to keep this plan a secret, but that was when I thought it was a private proposal, and even then asked him to discuss the future with her first. I don't want to cause drama in their relationship by telling Sarah, and I could be the idiot if I do. I would ask my boyfriend for advice, but he can't keep a secret and works with Adam. Edit, I feel obligated to tell her because if it were me, I would want to know. If it's something she does want, however, I can see how I would be the idiot. Also, as Adam has told me about it, so I feel if I stayed silent and she hated the surprise, and then she found out, I knew the whole time she would be upset. But maybe going against his wishes may be seen as meddling in their relationship and undermining his efforts to create a memorable moment for Sarah. For the love of all that is holy, tell her. You should never surprise marry someone. You are not the idiot, not even close. I mean, I kinda get the fun of a surprise wedding when it's family and friends you're surprising, but I have never understood this fad of surprising the person you're actually marrying. I would bet that Adam senses that Sarah is pulling away from him, and he's throwing a surprise wedding with everyone present to push her into the commitment. Either she succumbs to the pressure of the surprise wedding, or she has to have a very public breakup with everyone who is invited, unwittingly becoming a part of the whole process and wanting to know what's going on. Why doesn't she want to be with this great guy? It's a big red flag that every one of the family and friends is going along with it except OP. Good for you, OP. Tell her, please. 100% he knows she's considering leaving, and his idea of fixing it is to peer pressure her into marrying him. Not just getting engaged, married on the spot. He's doing this to back her into a corner. The entire plan is for him. If it worked, he'd get to trap her. And if it doesn't, he's the poor guy who got left at the altar by his heartless ex. I am so pumped for an update. I've witnessed a surprise proposal in front of a group of friends. The group didn't want or expect a proposal but felt pressured to say yes. And that's understandable because you can always change your mind and return the ring. But a surprise wedding is a whole other deal. You can't say no later. By the end of the day, you've exchanged vows and signed a marriage license. At the minimum, you'd need to get an annulment. Do not allow your friend to be blindsided in this way. I, 24 male, have a nephew, preschooler, that's usually tossed to me by my older sister, 27, or younger sister whenever they decide to make plans. Not that I don't like spending time with my nephew, but they usually throw him onto me whenever I have plans or I simply don't want to deal with a screaming child. My younger sister, nearly adult, mostly watches my nephew as she gets paid for it. Still, every once in a while, when she makes plans to go out, she informs me last minute and leaves him at my place so I have no choice but to watch him. Recently it was my girlfriend's 22 birthday, and I wanted to celebrate by taking her out for a week at a beach and amusement park. I informed my family about this event ahead of time so there would be no interruptions. On the day of our leaving, I got a call from my younger sister how she could no longer watch my nephew as she was going to have a sleepover with her boyfriend and a couple of friends, and that if we could, please watch him as she will be unavailable to. I told my sister I would not watch him and informed her that I made these plans and told them way ahead. She got extremely upset and called my older sister, who also in return called me extremely upset, and how dare I put a girl over my nephew. My girlfriend overheard the convo we had and felt extremely bad, that she offered to watch him and that we could bring him along, but I continued to put my foot down and informed him that if someone needed to watch him, my parents could. but in the end I compromised and took him with us. Throughout the whole week our vacation didn't go well. I could tell my girlfriend wasn't enjoying herself as we both had to babysit my nephew, leaving us no private time or relaxation, which made me feel way worse. After coming back, I informed both my sisters that since we had to bring him along, if they could both pay us for all the extra costs we had to pay, including him, and they are refusing to, calling me an idiot and saying that I'm putting my girlfriend over my own nephew. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but you need to grow a spine. What they're doing is not okay. You might love the kid, but it's not your kid and it shouldn't harm your life. It might come with angry people, but you must say no and stick with it. I also don't understand the logic of you're choosing a girl over your sisters and nephew, when the younger sister literally did the same thing by turning down nephew duties for a slumber party. It's not meant to be logical, it's meant to exploit a person's worst fears about themselves. OP, you aren't choosing a girl over your sister or nephew. You're choosing your own well-being and personal space over unpaid labour. It's incredibly manipulative that your sisters are implying that you're not prioritising your family when you literally just took your nephew on a week-long vacation. Childcare is expensive for a reason. It's a lot of work, emotionally and physically. Your sisters clearly feel entitled to tell you how to spend your time and energy. Best to nip that in the bud. What is the mother prioritising over her son? Why does the paid sister get to prioritise her boyfriend over the nephew, and you can't even though you're not getting paid? Two hypocrites here, and you need to stop acting like a doormat, my friend. Say no. Mean it. You let yourself be pushed over by your sister, even to the point of letting them ruin your couple's vacation. You are not the child's parent. You are not responsible for the child. No is a full sentence. You need to use that phrase, and they owe you for ruining your vacation by dumping the kid on you. I was serving in the army for 6 years when my oldest son Carter, 23, was 5 to 10. My and his mom were divorced by then, but I always made every effort to be a good dad and spend time with him while on leave. When I left the army, I spent every moment I could get with my boy. We still have a good relationship. Now my ex remarried pretty quick to a nice guy, Stephen, who of course did treat Carter well. I'm not knocking that even though we don't get along. I'm his actual dad. Carter's getting married to his fiancée Clark, 25 male, at the end of next month. My ex and Stephen are kind of strapped for cash, and Clark's family isn't exactly wealthy, so they asked me if I'd foot the bill. I agreed because of course I'd do anything for my boy. Come to find out yesterday that Carter wants Stephen and me to walk him down the aisle. That honestly really made me angry, you know, because I'm Carter's actual dad and I'm paying for everything and I've always been there for him. It hurt a lot that he'd want some step-parent to walk him down the aisle. We got into a huge fight about it this morning and I told him that I wouldn't pay for the wedding if Stephen walked him down the aisle. My ex is angry and thinks I'm being selfish, but my dad thinks I should push harder. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Way to prove to Carter which father he can rely on. You were a big part of why he has two dads after you and his mom divorced. That certainly wasn't his choice. He didn't ask to have a stepdad, but you and your ex-wife's choices forced that on him. Now you're jealous that he has a good relationship with his stepdad too, and want him all to yourself. It ain't about you, bro. It's about your son and his SO getting married. Wanting both dads to walk him down the aisle doesn't mean he loves you less, and paying for his wedding doesn't buy his love either. Gonna take some time to dig out the hole in his trust and love for you that you just dug. Yeah, what the heck, OP? You say Stephen's a good guy who treated your son and ex well, but you just don't like him? Why, LOL? Just jealousy? Come on, you're a full-grown man and you and your ex broke up years ago. Get over it. This is your son's day. Please don't spoil it over petty jealousy. If you had a legitimate reason to dislike Stephen, that'd be one thing, but you don't. You're just being selfish and petty. You should correct course and apologise before things worsen because they definitely will. You say you will do anything for your boy, well, prove it then. My girlfriend, 28, and I, 29 male, are financially like oil and water. We've been dating for nearly 2 years and she refuses to do any joint account even though we live together and just Venmo each the money we need for rent and other stuff. She's very high and mighty about finances and always advises me on how to improve mine. Now, I'm not good with finances, I'll admit. I'm in credit card debt and have a guilty pleasure of a second-hand BMW, and she does have her act together, Her student loans are paid off, she bought a house I just moved into, and she has savings, but she's expecting everyone to live like her, and I'm okay not having as much savings. I'm actually okay living on the edge a bit, but I know it bothers her a lot. She's very obnoxious with critiquing me for my car and the expensive payments. I don't care. I love my car and it's fine. It's expensive. She also points out that all the money I'm now saving because she cooks, so why don't I pay off my credit cards? I'm paying them off $500 a month at a time. But she nags me every time I go out that, hey, there's $60 you spent that could be going towards credit card payments. Or there's a video game purchase when you have tons already, so why don't you return it and pay off the credit card? She recently told me she didn't want to go any further with our relationship until I paid off my student loans, credit card and car. I was shocked because that could take years. She said she thought it would take 2 years and started showing me calculations she's made showing that if I stopped spending on anything enjoyable about life, I could pay it off. I told her she'll just have to take me with my debt or not at all because it's ridiculous how perfect she expects me to be, and I don't mind the debt, so she shouldn't either. She got mad and said I'm okay with constantly being in credit card debt, shows I'm not serious about being an adult, and she doesn't want to marry someone who brings her down and needs help. I was shocked because she never helped me apart from giving me slightly lower than normal rent when I moved in. You are the idiot for living in her house and eating her food, yet not cutting back on going out to save money and move the relationship along. She's smart not to have a joint account with you. She'd be even smarter if she met someone she was more aligned with. Dude, do you realize that if she marries you, your debt is her debt? She's right, the two of you are not compatible regarding finances, and it's better to break it off now rather than drag it on. You don't need a second-hand BMW even if you do like it. You can get it back when you can afford it. If I was her, I would leave too. Luckily, my partner and I have the same financial goals, which is key in a relationship. You're acting like a spoiled baby. Grow up. Yeah, I wonder why she refuses to do joint finances with you. Wait, I know, it's all in this story. You're an economic disaster and she refuses to be dragged down with you. Good for her. She wants to invest in her future. She doesn't want to tie herself to a boat anchor. Right now, you're the financial boat anchor and you're refusing to do anything about it. Credit card debt is expensive. You're completely crazy to voluntarily keep credit card debt. Do you understand what compound interest looks like? You are an idiot. You are clearly fiscally irresponsible and not at all marriage material. One of the classes I take is a seminar-based class where we read works of literature considered important in the Western canon. Think Homer, Plato, Aristotle, etc. and then discuss them in Socratic seminars. In said class, one person goes on rants for 30+ minutes. She just talks about how according to her personal values, somebody or something is right or wrong, which I don't find that valuable because the point of discussion is to do literary analysis and analyze the philosophical ideas presented. Saying the author believes X but I believe Y, therefore I disagree, doesn't really advance my understanding since it's a value judgment rather than really engaging with the text. Plus, I don't feel it's really useful in terms of furthering the understanding of the text for everybody else. I really wish the teacher would step in whenever she goes on these rants, but he never does. He just sits there with a disappointed expression on his face. And students try to change the subject often, but she talks over them and keeps going. So I figured since there's nothing I can do about her ranting, I can take a nap so go by faster. She usually starts ranting near the end of the class and keeps going until the class ends. So whenever she starts, I just take that as my cue to start napping. I know my teacher doesn't give a crap, and I suspect he'd honestly do the same thing if he didn't have to maintain a certain standard of decorum as a professor. She noticed this and confronted me, saying it was rude for me to nap when she was talking. I told her honestly that I personally didn't find her contributions that valuable, and she didn't let anybody else contribute when she was talking, so I saw no reason to pay attention. She got angry and called me a disrespectful idiot, but I think I'm being completely reasonable. Who wants to sit there for 30 to 45 minutes and listen to that? Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. In the real world, you have to deal with annoying people. You don't sleep to deal with them. You're not showing anyone how cool you are. Going to school is about more than just absorbing information. It's about learning to engage with other people over that information. Honestly, I'd raise my hand and ask her questions. See if you can find common ground and engage with curiosity. She might never change her behavior, but you're modeling how to engage in intellectual discussion for everyone in that room. I disagree, not the idiot. Honestly, if a professor lets someone drone on and on for 30 to 45 minutes, they're asking for students to check out mentally. Even in high school, when we would have discussions, the teacher would make it a point to tell someone to stop if they talked enough already. Yep, nap away the rant, do the homework, or excuse yourself from the class to do something else if you like, instead of wasting time listening to this dunderhead. I'm with you on this. This woman sounds like a menace. It's time to break out the big guns. A giant stopwatch that you start when she begins talking. Make her look at all the time she's wasting. She sounds like a snotty narcissist who doesn't care about others learning.